up, guys? It is your boy Smurfy with the last part of this YouTube series for the preview of the CDL. The series could still go on. We can recap this stuff every damn week. So, let me find out. Post in the comment section. Anyway, so we're going to get into this video. So, we got 3 more teams to cover, and I'm actually going to cover a little bit more stuff as we found out today. This is 2 a.m. So we found out yesterday that YouTube is now basically doing their contract with the CDL to be the singular entity that will produce or show like CDL games that includes challengers and stuff like that. Previously from Twitch, which was the preferred method for a lot of gamers. Previously, YouTube was the exclusive partner for CDL. It was a disaster as far as production, how to watch the streams in one place. Like, it's easier to go from one to stream, one to another stream. In YouTube, it's not. Of course, you get to watch it in 4K, but then it's the exclusivity part. You can't use Twitch to watch CDL really anymore. So, kind of hurts. So, as a sense, which I completely understand, is now that's limiting, viewership. Which last year was a record-breaking year, where like the watch parties with Scumpy, with Zuma, all those guys. So that's gonna ultimately hurt the product that's showing, and I wholeheartedly agree on it. I understand the exclusivity part potentially because that's where like a lot of NFL teams and stuff like that, they make a lot of money off their TV contracts. But you notice they don't just do one network, right? They do multiple networks to stream certain games. So I wonder if that would have been a better option in this case, where YouTube could have taken, like, let's say they stream out all of FaZe's games, or Twitch gets all of Optic's games, etc. So or they get certain slots. So instead of maybe teams, maybe they get like grand finals, or they get group play, qualifiers, etc. That would have been better to me, because you still get the exclusivity part for just being on your channel, and people move to then YouTube to watch the rest, probably more so than just do the grand finals, because they'll move you to watch grand finals. So I think that does ultimately hurt the product, but there is a rumor that it's because the CDL is folding. That's why that they've gone with this deal, but they don't know. People are saying it's 1 year, but there's no confirmed timeline on it. It wouldn't make much sense on YouTube's end to pay somebody for 1 year unless they feel like the numbers were worth it enough for 1 year to do it, which I ultimately don't believe is the case. Usually when you make an investment, you look at the long term, not just short term from their perspective. So we'll see how that turns out. Kind of weird. Could have been better, but it is what it is. It sucks for CDL because it was really easy to be able to go from watch party to the main event feed. If I want to go to Zuma's, I could. It's really quick. YouTube doesn't have that functionality unless you're following those. You just have to click on their profile, find the live, click it, all that stuff. So not ideal in any which way or form. If they do multi-screen, that could be that could be big, which would be really ideal if they could do multi-screen. That'd be big. But yeah, it's kind of that. Other than that, I covered about everything. I am worried about the challenger scene, because the challenger scene, again, I talked about it like most of my videos. I love the influx of new talent. I think that came from the fostering and the growth of challengers. So hopefully they can find a way to keep that continuing and growing, because the more if you have that kind of farm system, the more people get invested, in my opinion, in the game. Because maybe like when you're 15 or 16, you're like, maybe I can actually get to this point to challenger, which is more reachable than the pro league, and then you can go from then challengers, and then eventually that maybe leads to interest in the CDL, all that stuff, etc., etc., etc. So, but we're in the video. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Love to get to them. If you guys want me to do more of this content, I was going to do picks, but I don't think I'm going to have time to. It's 2 a.m. So, my fault, but we'll go. The rest is done. All right, y'all enjoy the video. All right, guys, first team on deck is the Minnesota Rokkr for the last of part 3, right? So this is actually pretty much a whole different roster from last year. So they initially had it was Cammy, Afro. I'm blanking on the other 2 right now. It was, it's right there on top of my head. But anyway, they were decent players. I think all of them are on different rosters now. Oh, Attach was one. I'm sorry, and then there's one more I'm forgetting. So this is a whole new roster, whole flip. So they brought Awakening and Vivid from Boston Breach. Lens was from the Challengers. I forget what team he was on. I think his teammate's on a different team. I think he was with Purge from Vegas. And then Accuracy was previously, obviously, as you can tell, it's on from Surge. Yeah, from the Surge.
Friendly Mosquito deployed.
And Purge, I said Purge, right, for Vegas, and this is Surge.
Friendly UAV online.
So I do like Vivid, and I like Awakening a ton. Awakening was really good on last year. I thought he was more good online than he was on land.
Hostile UAV in the
I think it'd be good, obviously, but I just don't know how good.
Grenade out.
Just getting the control of the air out, online versus on land. Vivid always has that potential to pop off.
Changing mags.
In my opinion, the reason why he used it a ton worked out, especially in hard. It makes him really good at
Changing mags.
kind of stealthy, slow playing, and then he'll pop off to, get a kill and chain those together. You can't really do that. So I don't know. I mean, he's still solid last year. He's not crazy. He's a really good SMD player. Just fantastic.
Friendly UAV on station.
Accuracy really underrated.
Grenade out.
Puts them together.
Hostiles launched a cruise missile. Mission maintain their
but should be good. I think if I remember looking at his challenge,
Changing mags.
easy, right? But I mean, very guys they're leaning on. So this should be a solid roster. Move on to the next team. And if there's any questions,
Friendly recon over here.
Alright, here's the big one. The one that pretty much 90% of y'all are waiting for. That follow Call of Duty. It's the Optic segment of this video. So we got Dashy, Kenny, Pred, Shotzi. Watched a ton of Optic last year. Had a lot of issues. I briefly hit on it in part 2. But they did a lot of overturn, and something I think that Optic does a ton is that they constantly make changes all the time. They've stuck with the team when they had the dynasty, with Formal, Karma, Scumpy, Crim6, and then when they had 5, they had interchangeable people like Envoy, I think Slasher, Kenny at one point was on the team. But then last year, it seems like they made a lot of huge changes. They just couldn't get a solidified roster because if you remember, they really wanted Pred after the first major LAN, if I remember correctly, or Arcities, and they just couldn't get the deals done with the two teams. And then they brought in Hugh. There was Illy on this roster at some point, and I think I'm forgetting one more. Maybe. They had Dashy on. Not Dashy. Ghosty, which is Dan. Which I disagreed with them moving on from him personally, because I think he really I wasn't bought in on him early, but then he really came into his own towards the end of the season, and he was, I think, honestly one of the better players because it wasn't slaying everybody up, but he filled his role, letting Shotzi and Dashy kind of do their thing. So I don't know. I mean, people are high on Kenny being back here. We'll see. But I think Ghosty's apparently been doing really, really well in the scrims, so I wonder if that's going to put a lot of pressure on Kenny, because they probably shouldn't have moved on, because that established some continuity. Now, it could be because of just chemistry reasons that he moved on, or cultural reasons, which is always a big thing, especially with last year with the coach and with Rambo and the Dashy situation. So hopefully this can be the right roster for them to kind of get back to the top, because they've underperformed the last couple of CODs. So you got Pred and Shots of your main subs. You have Dashy, Kenny will be your ARs. Dashy's still probably one of the better ARs in the game. Pred and Shots are your top tier subs. Unfortunately, it was just kind of an issue is this game isn't really big on subs, but they still have strong ARs. I don't know how strong compared to other teams they'll be. But if they can get some maps in the rotation, they were talking about Greece earlier today, which might have more favored to subs because it does have a little bit more not really long lanes of sights, allows for mobility, hidden spots, stuff like that. If these two can get cooking, between Pred and Shotzi, they might be the best team in CDL, but because the meta, I don't know if it's going to really fit. Guys, here's a last and final video. Last team that we're going to be covering. Going into this first online matches for CDL. Sorry, that took me too long to say. It's getting up there in time. So we got Attach, Nero, Purge, and Standy. I think Theory is basically their sub. But this roster, I mean, there's stuff to like about it. I love Standy. I think he's kind of gotten the short end of the stick when he was on Ultra. It was kind of a scapegoat for them. They feel they made an upgrade. I feel like Standy is still a really solid player. So it's just a good piece to have with Attach, who's also just gonna be the veteran shot caller. You know, he isn't like what he used to be, on FaZe back in the day, but he still is a really solid player that can pop off any given moment. Nero is kind of like it's kind of, in my opinion, kind of like Awakening, where you just didn't have the consistency of each event, just being like, there's guys where you just do nothing, or maybe you would pop off for crazy numbers on another one. So hopefully with the stability between Standy and Attach, that can